Welcome to episode number 27, Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie's show. It is about 9 p.m. right now on Thursday. As many of you know, we moved this week's show to Thursday night just due to some things going on with the holidays and so on. So we will be back at our normal scheduled time next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. So for those that are asking and following and going to be guests on the show for next week, we will be back on our normal schedule, which will be Tuesday night at 9 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Donnie on the show here. And there he is.
What's up?
How you doing, my man?
Good. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. No, as you know, no complaints.
No complaints.
Never complaints. Just good to be here.
Yes, sure.
So
sure is. We have a guest on tonight that we've wanted for a while.
Yeah, I was thrilled. I was thrilled that he was able to step in. Rieger unfortunately had some, I guess, work activity, things like that. So he told us that within a couple weeks he'd be back on the show.
Yeah.
So
we will pencil him in for a different week for sure.
Yeah, for sure, and that's okay because that's not why we do this. I don't know. You keep dropping the phone over there. I don't know what's going on. Are you muted now? Oh, I lost him. Let me get Donnie back on. Oh, there he is. So we're having a little technical difficulties here. My guy Donnie can't seem to hold the phone.
Dude.
So what's going on?
We need someone to sponsor this show, Jim.
You know what?
I need a tripod.
You need a tripod? Yeah. Well, I mean, we just recently purchased a tripod, so.
I need one.
You need one. All right, well, come and grab it.
Yeah.
So how has been your first week of the love shack of Donnie Rollins in the fiance world? How's everything going?
Beautifully. It's funny, I mentioned this last week a little bit. It's like a dual thing. Like some messages are like, so happy for you, congrats.
Yeah.
And some messages are like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? But we're happy so far. So good. No hiccups, no fights. We move into our new place pretty soon, which is awesome. So just spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's part of being married, man.
Yeah.
It only gets worse. Wait till you start having kids.
No, not yet. I got to play softball still. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can still play softball and have kids. It's just that you have to build that in now. So before you get married.
What's up, Robbie? Good to see you, man.
Yeah. I see Jackson Perry. What's going on? Welcome. Our boy Dave, welcome.
Yep.
I see Mickey's on. Hopefully Mickey will be able to send us an invite here in a couple minutes to join the show. Hopefully he's on his cell phone.
Yeah.
I know he was able to figure it out earlier, so I do see that I can add him. So I think he's all good, ready to go, which is awesome.
Yep.
I know we're excited about our guest tonight. We've asked him now for quite some time to join the show. I know he was previously an SSA board member and has been around softball for over 40 years. So he's got a lot
53 years.
Yeah, 53, yeah. Yeah, so I know you're excited about that. Yeah. So why don't we, why don't you tell me a little bit? What are you excited about to hear from Mickey?
I mean, that's the guy that knows everything about the game and almost all of the history of it, right? He's been in every big game. Just the history of him goes way back, more than Jim. You're a little older than I am, but like way before your time. Like it's cool that he's kind of seen previous generation, like our grandfather. Like really cool how long he's been around the game and how much he still loves it and still plays the game. Like he still pitches at the A level. It's cool, and when you talk to him, all he wants to talk about is softball. So I appreciate that. Jimmy, before we get into it, how was the scrimmage game this week with Moneyline?
Yeah, it went very well, actually. It was we had a lot of fun. You know how we do it. We go out there. We hire an umpire.
Yep.
We played a 9-inning game. Everyone got swings. We had some of the 45 guys out there that joined us too, Nate and PJ, and then we played a little game of line ball after the fact. So
that's fun.
Which was a lot of fun. We kind of divided up teams and played line ball at the end. So, great opportunity to get swings and just kind of get the guys together. So
yeah, it's cool just to like try to swing as much as you can. I know we went out there Tuesday with Joel and just seeing some guys you haven't seen in a while, and we don't see each other a ton over the winter and fall, so it's good for you guys because you got some new guys too, right? With Jack Dawson.
Yeah, it helps
everybody
the chemistry.
Knows, but
yeah, it helps the chemistry. Guys getting to hang out with each other, things like that, and since we're on the Dome topic, we're going to be hosting another tournament.
Yep.
I want people to understand what that tournament and how that's going to play out. It's going to be a pool play fashion. Every team that drives to the Dome will be guaranteed to play 2 games in a night. So I know that some people may drive 45 minutes. Some people may drive a little less, or a little more. I just think it's the best way to go. Every team that comes out there is going to play 2 games. We're going to, I just had my 9th team commit today. So we're up to 9 teams already. I would like to start that January 9th. If I got to push it back a week to get more teams, I will. But January 9th would be ideal that week. If I get 12 to 15 or 12 to 18 teams, just depends. I will use Tuesday nights. Predominantly, if we're going to go Wednesday, Thursday would be how I would like to do it. If I get 12 teams, the top 8 teams will play a single elimination tournament. The winner of each pool play, or the top 2 of each pool, because there'll be 4 pools then. And then the bottom 4 will play as well. So if I do get more than 12, then what I would do is one side of the bracket would come and play, the other side of the bracket would come and play, and then the championship would be the best 2 out of 3. So when they drive out for the championship that night, you'd play a 2 out of 3 series, which I think would be pretty cool. So as I said before, every time you drive out, you're playing 2 games.
That's the most important part, Jim. It's not close for everybody. As you know, guys are coming in from all over the place. And I know you've gotten like 45s guys just kind of up north, right? Tough for those guys to make it. So if they know, hey, we're going to play a couple games tonight, we're going to have the incentive to win games and get in the tournament, then guys will be motivated to get in there, which is nice. 9 teams committed already. I think people appreciate, being guaranteed some games. And also, we're not playing, right? Nobody's playing right now. So with you giving us the opportunity to jump in and play some games with each other, and I think more people should jump on that and join that plan.
Yeah, I mean, the team that wins it could play 6 or 7 games, which is half a season if you played in Rosemont. So
yeah, exactly.
That honestly, and you're playing all that for $400 to $450, which is awesome, and with the chance to win close to $1,000. So, I laid that out there, all the examples, the pool play, the prize money, what we're doing. Had a couple people reach out for sponsors, so that was cool to see. Haven't finalized anything yet with that, but they were just interested in how we're going to do that. So gave them that information, which was cool to see. And, we'll see what happens. So before we bring on Mickey, why don't you go through the chat? I see Jake Olson. What's going on, Jake? I know he's a big Buckeye fan, as you know. I see Ryan in the chat, Joe Caputo in there, Tim in there, Jeff Otto in there.
Brian Haas.
I see Robbie Garzano, Mickey Blushstreet.
KJ just jumped on in and watched.
Yep. So I do see a lot of cool people in the chat, so definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
Tommy Storino, he's just joined. He's part of our business segment tonight. I know he's a huge person in the mortgage industry. Just curious to see what he has to do as well, or what he's been doing. I know he's been a big supporter of 16-inch softball, so that's cool to see, right? That's opportunities that we want to bring to the show and, be able to have people promote their business, and that's what we're about. So
I think
Anything you want to add before I bring Mickey on?
I think Mickey's gonna love our new best topic on the show, rapid fire, Jim. That was your best idea yet. So I think Big Mick's gonna love that. Why don't you go ahead and bring him on in, Jim?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna be right back in 1 second. Let me bring him on.
Yep.
I gotta go grab my list.
Oh, Jimmy forgot the list. The one thing he's got to bring for the show. But hopefully everyone's having a nice little holiday season. I know we're getting ready for Christmas time and moving the schedule to Thursday this week. Appreciate you guys still sticking in and watching with us. Steve Burke just jumped on the show. Stevie, good to see you. Jake Olson, hopefully Jimmy hit you up about that sponsorship for our show. We'll definitely look forward to that. Appreciate you very much for reaching out. If anyone wants some free publicity, contact Jimmy and we'll put you on the show. So looking for more people to kind of run the business part of it, right? Being a part of the show and being able to put your business on the show is always great. Burke says Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. That's great. Jake, let me know. I got you. We definitely will, man. So Jimmy, bring Big Mick onto the show and let's get chatting with him. I'm excited about it. Hey, Jim. Well, I can't hear you. Oh boy. Can't hear you. Can you guys hear Jimmy? Or can you hear me? Jimmy got that cricket internet. Jimmy's he keeps trying to talk. We can't hear him. Hey, say it louder. Scream it. Say it way louder. You're still talking, dude. We have no idea what you're saying.
Sorry, guys. Unfortunately. There you are. I lost all volume. I couldn't hear anything.
No problem.
So
no problem.
I'm glad I was able to fix that rather quickly.
Yeah, that was good. Listen, since week 1, the tech support has been so much better. When we had producer Kyle saying just going like this, just talk louder, and right. Now we've cut producer Kyle completely out of the show.
Yes, it's been hysterical. So I was trying to get the list. Unfortunately, I didn't send it to myself. I didn't write it down. It's on the phone I'm on, so I can't get the list.
You want me to write it down real quick?
Yeah, write it down. I know you can go through it. I know some of them. I know who number 1 is.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I know who number 2 is, and I know who number 3 is. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on now. So we're gonna get him on.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Mick, what's going on? How are you?
Figured it out. I didn't have to go to a podcast for dummies. I made it.
You made it, my man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I know Donnie and I have been having little issues with our phones tonight, so it's been acting up. People have been saying we're on the Cricket Mobile, Boost Mobile phone service. Donnie hopped off really quick. He's going to be right back joining us here in a second. So,
but don't forget about that list. Just ad-lib. Don't worry about it.
No, I got the list, and Donnie's got the list, so we're all good.
Grill list. It's the grill list.
Yeah. So I know, Donnie and I, we've been asking you now for quite some time.
I got the garb on tonight.
Yeah.
Crushed up. I dug the hat out of the bag to wear it tonight.
There you go. I know you said that Jinx was one of your rivals, so I had to wear the Jinx gear.
We had great games against them guys, man. First of all, a little history about that. 6 or 7 of my guys went to the Jinx when they started that team. And there's a
Right.
story. There's a story. I got a call in November. I still don't know to this day, 37 years later, whatever, 35 years later, who called me. And they says, there's 7 guys from the Crush at this meeting tonight. I says, okay, who are they? He told me, and they hung up the phone. I never found out who called me, so I found out what happened, and 7 guys jumped. They went from Bridgeport Crush to the Jinx. By the end of the year, only 4 of them were there. 3 came back to me. The guys that stayed with the Jinx were Menizzi and Duddleston. We were mainstays for a few years. And
Right.
Jimmy Crowley came back. Sammy Luceni came back. Kenny Mecke came back. You know, it was what it was. But, yeah, so that's something from back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to hear. And I know Donnie and I have a lot of questions for you in regards to just the old times compared to what it is today. You know, you've been a part of softball, I think, as we said, and Donnie said earlier, 53 years. Donnie, you're on mute if you want to unmute yourself.
I've been playing men's league since I was 16. I'm 68, so there you go.
Yeah,
There's
it's
the time
incredible.
frame.
So Donnie,
There's the time frame.
you're still on mute there, my man. We're having a little. You're having a little issues tonight with your phone. There you are.
Right.
There you are.
He's a happy man. I'll engage this guy. Look at the smile on his face.
I
Look
know.
from ear to ear.
Look at that. I haven't smiled this much in a long time.
So
what do you got for me, guys?
Hysterical.
Mick, what's going on? Thank you for being on the show. First of all, I know we wanted you on for a while.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's all good. I love what you guys are doing. You know me, I'm a lover of the game, a promoter of the game in all phases, all stages, everywhere, anywhere you go. So I'm happy to throw my 2 cents in.
You know, my first question for you, Mick, something that's really impressive is your memory. You can recall any inning, any pitch with anybody on base, and whatever the count is. Where does that come from? How do you have that?
Well,
is that like he can tell you any right? Am I like, it's not crazy, right?
I'll tell Jimmy some stuff you don't remember from the time we played in the NSA. Who keeps throwing that picture on there, Jimmy? When we finished in 3rd place with me, you, Mickey, Robbie, Holty. Who keeps throwing that picture on?
I think it's a Facebook memory that comes
keeps
up
popping up. We finished
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. Wasn't that like a Les Duncan event?
It was a Les Duncan NSA National Tournament out in Country Club Hills. Yeah. We finished 3rd that year.
I thought so.
We were a game away.
See?
But
so where does that come from?
Well, Donnie, when I was growing up, my dad took me everywhere. He was a softball player. And he played for St. Albert the Great Knights of Columbus, which was big-time ball in the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s. So he quit playing when he was 40 years old, 1961. I'm 6 years old. I'm a bat boy. Me and Eddie Zola Jr., I'm a bat boy. Name from the past. God rest his soul, he just passed a couple months ago, 70 years old. His dad was the pitcher. These are Hall of Famers now. Willie Frenzel was the catcher, Hall of Famer. Joe Guckwa, Bobby Warnock, Al Check. And the 2 teenagers on that team were Willie Simpson and Taunchy.
Wow.
Okay, you're guys from Wallace. Yeah. So they're talking 1961 to 65. I was bat boy for 4 or 5 years with them guys. Then I started playing Little League and moving on my own. But I was out there. I mean, I was jagging fly balls when I was a punk kid running in the outfield, getting hit by line drives, getting knocked on my ass, getting yelled at for getting in the way and being out there. But you know what? I was with my dad. My mom was out there watching the games too. And I used to play at 47th and Damon, back of the yards. It's a shopping mall now. It used to be a free fair there. And they used to play softball tournaments there. And, I mean, that's the originator with me. I posted a picture when the pandemic hit when I was 1.5 years old. My dad holding me in his arms. I'm holding a baseball bat at a picnic. I was about 15 months old. So I started from there all the way on and into where I'm at now. And, it's in the genes. It's in the genes with Mick, too. And my granddaughter's playing. I got 3 granddaughters, no grandsons, so she's picking up. She says she made a comment not long ago. I got to keep the Balestri name going in softball. she's 13 years old, playing 12-inch now. So at boys at the little field in Canaryville. So
that's awesome.
yes, I mean so that was the start of all that stuff. And I played grade school ball. We played 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We played all the schools in the neighborhood after school, 4 or 5 o'clock games, and. A real quick story. When I was 15, I was in a 14 and over league. I couldn't play because my birthday was in March. If you're 15 before May 1st, you couldn't play. So all my buddies that were 13 or 14, I managed them. That was my first managing job. And we won the league, 14 and under. So I was a manager, got a championship in my first year at 14. And who knows, 54 years later, I'm still doing the same damn thing.
That's awesome.
Still babysitting for a lot of men, too. Still making phone calls, getting their ass on the field, making sure they're there. We got 10 guys.
You ain't lying about that. So that leads me into kind of the old days, because I know, and you might know a little, obviously more than I would, Kelly Park. Kelly Park back in the, I want to say the 80s, late 70s, I heard was an incredible league. You know, some of those older major leagues back then. Speak to some of how those leagues were back then compared to what they are today.
I used to go out with my dad and watch these games when I was a teenager. Some of the guys from St. Albert were playing on the Bobcats. So all the guys I mentioned are all Bobcats, which was probably one of the two greatest teams in softball.
Right.
So we used to go and watch it. They used to have guys from Clarendon Park come down, and then the guys from the South will go to Clarendon Park. They had just like a travel thing, and it was the best softball out there. You had the best players in the game banging heads. And then there was a little slow period in the 80s. The major, I think Kelly slowed down. And then in the late 80s, I joined up with a friend of mine, Bernie Williams, who played with the Unknowns, and a few other guys. And we formed we called it an upper league. You want to call it a Super A league, a semi-major league, whatever, at Kelly, 88, 89, 90.
Right.
You know, we had the Aces, we had the Jinx, we had the Stickmen, we had ourselves, and the Crush, and we had a few other good teams in there. And that lasted about 4 or 5 years. And then I segued over to Clyde. And then I went to that Clyde I played at Clyde from 1986. So we had a major and an A league at Clyde. We had 6 majors and 8 A's. And we were fortunate enough to win that league because we had the best record, and we beat 2 major teams that year. So that's what started the Clyde thing for me back then.
Yeah, Clyde has one of the favorite rules, I think, ever playing softball, the mope rule, right? You hit it over the fence, you're out into the yard.
Timmy Maher started that.
Yeah, that was one of the that was an incredible rule back in the day. So I know a lot of the newer guys in softball don't know about that rule.
Yeah, and you got to go get the ball.
Yeah, and you got to go get the ball.
You got to go get the ball. You got to go in Rusty's yard with the dog in there barking. The dog next door to his yard, Rusty Carlson by the alley. You got to go in the street and chasing it. The car's chasing you. So there was a lot of crazy shit there.
Yeah. So Donnie's having serious issues tonight with his phone.
He's got too many questions for me. I talked to him not long ago about this. He's got his head is spinning.
I got so many.
He's so excited, Nick.
I got a lot of things on my plate. All right.
He's so excited.
I'm a fellow softball guy. Don't worry about it.
And I'm going to kind of piggyback on that question before I hand it over to Donnie really quick. We talk about how softball was then and compared to how it was now. I know back then I feel like it was obviously the game was just, at a different level from a standpoint of just popularity. Just because there was no social media, you had no cell phones. Like the place to meet was at the park. How do you compare it then to now?
You're talking about the game itself?
The game itself, or just the talent, right? I mean, talent, I feel...
Talent will always be there. No matter what area you have, you will have talent.
Right.
Back then, equipment was different. You played with metal cleats. You played with wooden bats. No matter how heavy they were, you played with them. I just used fungal bats that were 38 inches long. They weighed a ton. They used to drill them on top and fill them and load them up. And balls were not clinchers. They were Wilsons. Right. They had stitches like league balls. They were a different kind of a stitch. And, the old story at Clarendon Park, they used to put them in the freezer in the wintertime because they had the fences up there so the ball wouldn't go so far when they took them out in the spring. There's a lot of crazy stories. I
believe it. Yeah, I hear that goes on a lot with 12-inch and stuff like that, too. I've heard those stories.
But the ability of players are always going to be there. Every team's going to have their stars, their superstars, their regulars. Conditioning now is so much better than it was back then. You had the opportunity. You had more time to do it. Back then, you got somebody going to work. I mean, it still happens now. You ain't got time to breathe. You go to the park, you play 2 games, you go home, have a sandwich, take a shower, go to bed. Mm-hmm. Get up 6 o'clock, go to work. That doesn't change.
Yeah.
But the mentality is a little different. The way you play is a little different. the DH come in back in the day. That changed the game a little bit, give you an extra thumper in the lineup. Dimensions in fields, some got fences, some don't. But I grew up in the parks. I'm a product of Chicago park districts. Nasty ass fields, grass growing all over the place, wind blowing in your face, sun all over the place. Fun. Families come out, got the coolers on the side, kids are in the playground. You got the moms over here with the other moms. They're watching the kids. After the game, you go have a couple pops, go home. But the game itself, it's softball. It's softball. You still have your players. They still got to perform on the field. Catch, throw, run, and hit. Basic is still there. And, that's pretty much.
Right. No, it's great. Donnie.
Nick, how do we kind of piggyback on that question? How do we get back to having that much success in terms of a viewership in softball in these big tournaments? Because, we talk about it all the time. Yeah. Viewership at the field is down. And you would probably agree with that. Being out there, you go to every tournament, you watch all the games. How do we get people back to the fields to watch and really kind of make that a community like that again?
Well, there wasn't the 4-day tournaments back then. There wasn't the big 3-day tournaments. Mostly was single limb and you're in and out. Sometimes you go on a Sunday in these parks, you play some round robin games with a few teams. Tournaments were usually 16 teams, single limb. But the teams didn't leave. As you said many times, Jimmy, the teams didn't leave. Like at your tournament, they stick around all day and make a day of it. You don't just come out and play at 10, you lose, you go home. Mm-hmm. Your day is set. That's where you're going to be at the park. And if you're family oriented and the park is a nice park where you can put the kids in a playground, or if you're lucky there's a pool there or a sprinkler or something, you spend a day there. You pack I had a little station wagon back in the day, and then I went to minivans. Okay. I was a minivan guy. So we used to pack the cars, got blankets, jackets, always had a cooler, always had sandwiches. Because it cost you an arm and a leg. Nowadays, it costs you an arm and a leg. You get away with it a little bit then.
Right.
But the thing was with the crowds, they were there for that one day. They didn't leave. They stayed there. They supported the other teams. A lot of friends were playing against each other, with each other, especially in the neighborhood tournament. You played in Canaryville. You played at Armour and back in McGuane and stuff. We had some nice crowds there. You get a couple hundred people watching the tournament on a Saturday afternoon. That's a hell of a crowd. I really think it is. So it's not like you're looking for 500-600 people 4 nights a week. And it's a tough sell that way.
Yeah, I agree. So go ahead, Don. You got something?
It's a little off topic. Jim, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add to that. Iowa has made a huge jump, I feel, in the right direction over the last 5 years, at least since I started playing. I know back then Iowa teams were – there was a handful of them that were pretty competitive, but only with a glove. Yeah. Now I feel those Iowa teams are becoming more competitive without a glove. They're making it part of their everyday league, ritual tournaments and things that they do. How do you see the difference from where it was with Iowa to now? Do you think the Iowa teams are continuing to improve, or what's your opinion on that, Mick?
Well, here's the way I look at it. They're glove-oriented. We all know this.
Yeah.
Last 8-10 years, we haven't played much glove except for the last 2 tournaments of the year, A and Major, in all reality.
Right.
So their level of ball is creeping up. Okay, that's why you've seen in the A, their A teams are performing much, much better, and they move up to the majors and they're performing much, much better. You got some Final Fours, you got a second, a couple teams won the A's already. Last year, 2 A teams from Iowa come over and got to the finals. They're playing it all the time. We play it one tournament and one tournament. And to me, that's advantage them to bring them up a level to play against us.
Right,
That's the way I look at it. You look at Washington Park, all them years they played gloves. And I remember Jerry from Solutions, Jerry Brown told me, and even Tony Ward said, when we played in your league at Clyde, that made us much better because you were no gloves. We got out of the glove league twice a week to come play by you, and then they branched out into other parks.
Right.
We took that as a compliment. We give them the opportunity to come and play. Everybody was welcome. Jerry won our league. IY won the league once, and they chopped it once with Smackout on that lights went out night. Yeah. So, and you see who the better teams are now. And I think that with the Iowa teams, to get back to your question, that's the reason I think they're more competitive. Our A teams, we don't play with gloves no more. We really don't. We play one tournament a year. So I think that's their advantage to catch up. We're at the level. We're there, and they're coming. They're coming up. So that's the way I look at it. The way I look at it. I think it's a valid point.
Do you think that? I mean, I feel like 3 years ago, glove nationals, just wasn't that. It kind of I felt like took a step back, right, from what it was 10 years ago. And then I feel now the last couple of years, I don't know if it's because of the complex. I don't know if it's just because of maybe we're getting more teams to play major national. I don't know what it is. But the last 2 years, I almost feel like it's been more of a national than it was the previous 5. I feel like the previous 5, it just didn't feel like a national. You had major teams not showing up. You had got teams playing, half-assed or just short-handed.
Dropping off, not showing up, they're not having enough guys out there.
I feel the last 2 years, I feel like it's kind of coming back a little bit. I don't know if you agree with that, but I've seen it, and I think it's, my question to you is what's your thought on that?
Well, one, we probably have 8 to 10 major teams, 6 to 8 mid-major teams. It's not 24 teams for a major national. If you could get 4 from Iowa, which I don't think we get anymore. I think we get them 3 the last couple of years. Now the other 2 teams are combining, so we're going to lose 1 team.
Right. And I think Stover's going to come and make up, though. I think they'll be
Stover's going to come up, and I know Hall of Fame's going to come up. I don't know who else is going to make a move. Maybe during their qualifying system that they have out there, they're going to force 1 or 2 teams up to come from the A if they get enough, points or whatever they got in their tournaments.
I think we can get 4 from Iowa.
Yeah.
Donnie and I have been working hard to bring the 12-inch groups.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can get 1 or 2 of the 12-inch teams to come for major nationals.
That F-Town team is pretty good. That played A last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won
A. Yeah.
I believe they won A nationals.
Yeah. It's still a money thing with a lot of them teams that come over for 4 days too. You know that, and I know that. You do enough travel, Jimmy, over the years. You know what it is to cost, and it's hard sometimes. If you ain't got a sponsor popping you for a couple dimes, you're kind of stuck a little bit. Everybody's on their own, and Donnie's always laughing at something. I think he's got his earphones on somewhere else.
I really like how you phrase some things. It's old school.
Oh, you like my terminology?
I love it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm still a pencil and paper guy. Okay, yeah. Throw the computer away.
I was surprised you got on the actual call tonight, man.
I did a test run. I had to do a test run.
You did a test run at 4:30. We're all good.
I love the way that you talk about stuff. The way you word things. I think it's great.
Yeah. So what else you got?
I got just a couple more for you. So not many people know this. USSSA, as many people know, is a 12-inch organization. Okay?
Now it is.
You are in the USSSA Hall of Fame.
Now it is.
Right.
I brought this for you. I brought it. I brought this for you. I went in the basement and dug it up. I'm on the cover with everybody who got in that year.
There you go.
It's 1999. So they had 16 in softball from about 83 to 95.
Okay.
Les Duncan started it when he broke away from the ASA. And he had open tournaments until 89. And then, Jimmy, remember the Grant Park tournaments?
Yep.
Okay, he got a big nut from old style. He got like $150,000. And that's when Apple Vacations gave trips away for the winners. I got my first cell phone. 1992, I was playing with the Gamblers. We qualified enough that we come in second. We won a cell phone. Everybody got a bag phone. It was my first cell phone. So they had all this money to give away. They had 5 divisions and Major A, Co-Rec, Women's, and Handicap. They had all these divisions. They had 350 teams playing at Grant Park on a given weekend. For about 8 years, they did that. And it blew up the game. It blew up the game at that time. They were televising the championship game on Sports Station. Mike North was doing it. And they had vendors all over the place. They had thousands of people at the park. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They had a party at the Hilton or a party at the Hyatt after the Friday night games. Free hot dogs and beer. What do you know?
I was fortunate enough to get to play in 2 of those Grant Park.
Yeah.
I think it was the last 2 years.
Yeah.
One thing about Grant Park, your left fielder was standing on the diamond of the other field.
Yeah, you get your ribs busted just going for a pop-up over there.
It was incredible back then. So.
Yeah. But so Donnie, thank you for mentioning that. The thing is with this here is not a lot of 16-inch guys put in bios. I was asked to put a bio in by Irv Porter, who actually ran this magazine, and he had the Illinois softball report before all the video stuff started. He was running magazines for years, and myself and my teams had good credentials in the U trip. I mean, we happened to win 89, 92, 95. I won with the Crush in 89 and 95. In fact, the one in 95 was the first no-glove nationals they ever had. Frankie Fiorito, friend of mine, he used to run the Panthers as commissioner then. Les was gone. And we win that tournament in an if game. And, and Mickey was with me then. He was 17 years old. That's his first big win out of the neighborhood. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. That was one of the things I wanted to bring up. We talked to Kevin Duff and Timmy Kornkowski, and both of those guys mentioned that they want to play with their kids. That was like the big thing. That's why they still play. And you can kind of talk on that a little bit. And I seen you comment in one of the videos that we were doing with Kevin Duff. Talk to them about that a little bit if you could.
That is outrageously great, if that's a good word for you.
Yeah.
Mickey was playing with me when he was 16, 17, junior in high school in the neighborhoods. And he was a little sucker. He was about 5'4", 130 pounds, playing second base, running around. But he was with me all the time. You know, I taught him how to do a scorebook at 5 years old. He used to chart games for me at 7 years old. Yo, Mick, where'd this guy hit? Left field, Dad popped up to third. What'd this guy do? Fly to right, ground to second. And he was my bullpen guy, so to speak, my dugout guy. And so he was with me. We grew together. He played. Loved having him with me. I took the family everywhere. Him and my daughter and my wife at the time. You know, we were going to all the games until she started working nights. But playing with him is great. You know, when you get in an argument with your son, that's great. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of these. And then as he grew, as he got bigger in body and filled out and everything, and become a young man, and then he was 19, 20 years old, start playing more. I had him at 18 years old playing in the pro league in right field. He's in right and Bradle's in left. I'm telling you, Bradle's in center and he's in right. And we'll get to Davey later. Yeah. So So I mean, he's had some great moments as a young kid that people don't remember. He was playing Forest Park right field in the No Glove Nationals. He was 19, 20 years old. You know, I threw him out there. You're going to learn. Go play. And he got better, and he started pitching. He's got some mannerisms of me. We have a different philosophy about pitching, especially when I was managing and he was pitching.
Yeah.
you know. But listen, there's no better feeling than playing with your kid, let alone winning something, and winning something that's a championship of any kind, a park league, a tournament, a nationals, and we've done it. We've done it. I've managed him when we won it, and it was a joy. It was a pleasure. He pitched for Bankroll this year.
Yeah.
Nationals. Last year I pitched against Jimmy in the Nationals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had a good game for 5 innings, which we put a little scare in you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your time will come, Jimmy.
Oh, I know.
As long as you're still playing in your middle 50s, your time will come.
I know. I'm waiting for it. So my youngest or my middle one will probably be the one that'll play, and we got another about 13 years. So I can hang out for 13 years somehow, some way.
We're all good. But you know what? One of the things, when I was fortunate enough to get in the Hall of Fame, he introduced me.
That's cool.
He nothing written down. He just went up at the mic and had lived the speech. And he did it for the 16 USSSA and in the Hall of Fame at Forest Park. He introduced me both times. And it's funny because that night, Matty Dozen introduced his father. We got in the same night at the Chicago Hall of Fame. Yeah, 16th Hall of Fame. So, listen, I'm still with him. All these years, we're still together.
I think
can't
the
be
cool thing about
man. Can't be family.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about everything is just the history, right? I mean, some of the younger generation, Donnie's generation, they just don't hear the history of the game. Yeah. And I think that matters. It's important to know the history of the game. You know, some of the old timers, some of the guys that still support the game, what they've been through and what they saw. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no.
Donnie, do you have Any question before we get into the rapid fire list?
No, those were the big things I wanted to hit, and I've got the list right here. If you want me to rattle some things off.
Right, hang on one second, real quick. So this is 23, 1982. 42 years I've been with Crush, and we're still playing senior ball and senior nationals and in a league. I don't know. I'm one of the longest running teams. We are one, not me. We are one of the longest running organizations that's still going. And there was about 4 or 5 years before me that they started with Tommy Duddleston, because he was one of the originators. They asked me to play in '82, but I just wanted to throw that out there. And you know, our records and accomplishments speak for themselves. We got a lot of wins, a lot of losses. But you know what? We were there. We knocked on the doors. We opened up. We went in. We won some. We lost some. I played against every team since 1985. That's all I can tell you in softball. And that's 38 years.
Yeah,
it's a long time. That's a long time.
I believe it. Donnie.
Yes.
Why don't we get started with rapid fire? So, Mick, we're going to shoot you 10 names. I might make it 12 because I just had 2 pop in my head.
You're going to start from 12 down or 1 up?
Yeah, I'm going to start from 12
pick them at random. Pick them at random.
No, that's okay. We're going to start with the list. We got it all figured out. Donnie's got it in front of him, but the first 2 names I'm going to throw out there before Donnie hits the top 10. Just give us a sentence or, you know, what your opinion is on these individuals and what maybe you like or dislike about them. And be blunt. Don't worry about it. If you say a negative thing about someone, we enjoy those things sometimes.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty positive in everybody. I'm not throwing too many people under the bus tonight.
But you can bust balls. That's what we're looking for. So the first one I'm going to say is Bob Ancona, number 12.
Okay, Bob Ancona, ASA commissioner, ran tons of tournaments. I played in a lot of them. Didn't like to travel. I could have played in that league many, many years. I didn't. It's too far from my house. Living in Bridgeport, the travel sucked. I personally never had an issue with Bob. Be honest with you, we won money. He paid me. We had a tournament. We showed up. So I got no problems with Bob. I'm all good.
Cool. Number 11, Paul Rowan, Hall of Fame president.
Paul Rowan, Hall of Fame president. I first met Paulie back in the day when he was playing with the Ringers. He was a short center out of Mount Greenwood, Kennedy Park area. He played with a lot of Southside guys. He's president of the Hall of Fame now. Some people like what he's doing. Some people don't. I get along with Paul fine. I go hang there on Saturdays. It's open from 12 to 4. I like some of the guys in there. And I support the 16-inch program.
So it's funny you said that. So this Saturday, I'm actually going to head out to the Hall of Fame.
I will be
I know
there.
Donnie's got to work, but I know they have the open the door, or the open house, as they call it, this Saturday. So those softball players who want to come out, I think they're just having an open house, bringing people in, showing them the Hall of Fame.
Cheer. A little Christmas cheer.
Little Christmas holiday thing for 16-inch softball. So, you know, we obviously want to promote that. We want to help get many people out there as we can. And like I said, I'm going to be stopping by. I know we have a hex party for ourselves on Saturday afternoon that I'm going to be attending. So I'd like to stop there first and then, you know, head over to the party. But, yeah, just wanted to throw that out there for the fans. Donnie, why don't you hit up the next individuals on the list?
Got it. So Jimmy comes up with these rapid fire things for you, Mick, and he wants to be honest. The first one we've got on the list is Gio.
Real quick, I met Gio when he was playing with the Dog Pound back in the day at Clyde Park. Jibs was pitching for this team. He was their short center. You know, Gio does the streaming thing. He's a guy in the SSA that takes a big part of responsibility in what they do. And, you know, some people agree with him, some people don't.
Yeah. Go for number 10 down, Donnie, if you don't mind.
Okay, we've got Pat Caputo is next.
I had lunch with Patty today. And, he was feeling pretty good today. God bless.
Good.
Patty's like the centerpiece. You know that, of what's going on over there. And he's got a lot of influence. He handles a lot of the people problems, I would say, actually off the field. Deals with everybody and everything. Played against Patty for 30 years. Patty's a great guy, simple as that.
Yep. Right. Number 9.
Dave Bradle.
Dave Bradle.
Dave Bradle.
My guy, Uncle Dave.
Uncle, how did he bowl this week? Did he average 190? We had a little wager that he was going to average 190 this week.
Oh, I don't know. He was at the Dome last night, though.
All right.
Hitting, as he calls them, missiles to the pitcher. Yeah. So
the line drives through the middle. Yeah.
Right at the pitcher, one hopper. He's missiles.
I met Dave when he was a kid playing against my brother-in-law at McGuane Park in the 18 and under leagues, which I first met him. Yeah. They played for me a lot of years, all the way into senior ball, and he bust his ass on the field. As Dave got older, became a much better hitter than when he was younger. That I can tell you. And to this day, as you know, he still hits the ball, and he could do it up in any league. And he had a nasty collision with Mickey that one time. I tell you, at Hodgkins, man, they went head to head. But yeah, Dave's a gamer. Love him on my team.
Yep. Number 8.
Actually, you touched on him already. You talked about him, but your son is on this list.
My son's on this list. I don't know what he's doing this year. It's another question. What is he going to do? Who's he going to play with?
Jagoff.
Oh yeah, well that's a tournament team. That's
he's the captain.
But you know what though? He loves the fun part of the game. That's why he loves the Park District game. No ties, no nothing. Give me a time, I'll show up. You ain't got to worry about running a team, making a roster, making phone calls. Listen, Mick busts his ass on the field, and I love his game. His heart's as big as a lion's heart. I mean, he's out there, and listen, I backed him up, and he's backed me up over the years, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Francisco Arenas.
Frank took over my league. I groomed him to take over the Clyde League about 4 years ago. I was looking for somebody to hand it off to. I had it up to here. I had enough. And softball wasn't becoming fun no more for me.
Yeah.
And, a little bit too violent, a little bit too mouthy, a little bit too potty and drinking out there. And when somebody called the cops on me at Clyde Park, I don't know why. When I was running the league one night, they said too many people were in the park and it was loud and obnoxious and can't park your cars. And that was kind of like the start of the downfall for me. But Francisco, great guy, bringing his game up front with the Play for Peace tournament, the B Nationals over the years. I went to that first one at Petrowski Park, and he's been running it over the years. And Frank does great for the game.
Yep.
Next one is John. John,
well missed. Quit way too early. Double. Out of the batter's box, it was a double. I don't care where he hit the ball. He dived into the second base. He dived from the second base position all the way to the bag. He had sore ribs every year, though. What a gamer he was. What? Huh? He's a nut.
He was an absolute nut.
What a gamer he was. Outstanding hitter. Energy, high energy. Loved the game. For whatever reason, he backed off back in the day. So.
Yep.
And the next one is Matty Dozen.
Matty Dozen, very good friend of mine. I met Matty when he was a young kid. I played against his father, him, his brother, and his son, and his son, and his son. I played with them and against them all. So there's 3 generations there that I banged heads with all them guys. Matty's a great guy, great for the game. Was a very good outfielder. Knows the game very, very well. He's into the managing thing now. Still going to play A-ball. Great guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you and Matty play heads up in golf, I put $1,000 prize money out there. Who wins?
That's a bad question to ask, so go ahead. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. Not yet. So me and him played you and Grado. You know the matches we had.
I know.
He's still throwing that 89 at you, though.
He is. Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does.
We've got.
I know.
The next one is Rich Hennessy.
Rich Hennessy. Richie's a character. You know that. We must have pitched and caught 800 games between us, if not more, over the years. Rich, good friend of mine. First year he played with me, he was with Molex. I got him to play at Clyde with me real quick. We went to Arizona. He wasn't playing in the game. I look in the dugout. Rich, go pinch hit. He's gone. And he took Sammy Bertucci with him. He went back to the hotel, got to the airport, hopped a flight, and went to Vegas. I'll never forget it. Chandler, Arizona. We've been good friends ever since.
That's awesome. Good for him.
We've got Tommy Balick is next.
Tommy, another guy. Banged heads with him for many, many years. played against each other a long time. We ran into him at Kelly Park years ago in the middle 80s, early 80s, when I was just bringing the crush up to the bigger ball. And they pounded us with his team. And we were in the Final Four. It was, speaking of Paulie Rowan, it was the Ringers against the Whips and us against the Touch in the Final Four of this tournament. And naturally, the two teams won easily. But Tommy was always a gamer. Throws one of the heaviest pitches around. Long and fast and low. And back then, you would get that strike. No more now, though. Great guy, Tommy. Love Tommy. Good guy.
You don't get that now.
No.
So, who's next?
The last one we've hit everybody. Rory Bon Jovi.
Rory, nobody knows Bon Jovi.
No, that's why I had it on the list. I know Rory.
I just watched the game on a VHS tape downstairs 2 days ago. He's in left field. We're in Berwyn, Genera Park in the north-south, and we're playing the 45s. I took myself out in the first inning. It was 5-0. After Berger hit a three-run homer over his head, I took myself out. Charlie Brown was playing. I give him the ball. He got beat up for 10 runs. We lost 15-5. Rory ran his ass off that game. There's a guy, he was doing flips at Garves on the stage. He's on the stage doing flips, landing on his shoulder. He's doing a somersault flip on the stage. We're playing in a tournament. Next day he comes, man, my shoulder's sore. I think I heard it on that dive. I said, you flipped on the stage 7 times. I said, what the hell's the matter with you? But, Jimmy, see if you remember this. Were you with Elite with Marty Dozen in the state tournament in Mount Prospect years ago? Did you play in the same team?
No, we were on Jinx that year. We were on Jinx that year. We actually beat them in the championship that year.
Okay, so we're in the state tournament. We're playing Elite, and they walk a guy that's ahead of Rory and load the bases up. This was the biggest hit he ever got in his career, as far as I've seen. He hits a grand slam, hit a liner in left field, but it didn't go very far because they're playing him so shallow, and he don't hit the ball far. He ran around the base, and he took off from halfway and dove into the plate, come up in a cloud of dust safe. We end up upsetting Mr. Tenz's team. Rory was the hero, the flowing hair, flying through the wind, diving at the plate, but his shoulder still hurts him, and he don't know why.
He was always covered in dirt. He would always slide head first in the second. Remember that?
Like Ernest T. Bass. Yeah, he was filthy.
I put him on the list because he was an incredible guy, like just from a standpoint of if you knew the guy, everyone was the greatest player. Everyone was awesome. He loved you. Like, he was a big supporter of everyone. And, you know, being a young guy, sometimes you want to hear that on the team. So it was always good to have him around.
Woolrine, it was his name. Woolrine, something like that.
Yeah.
Naperville guy. All them Naperville guys.
You know, have you had an update on him? I mean, I haven't seen him around the game in probably 10 years.
No, I haven't talked to him in at least 8 years.
Okay.
At least that long. Long. He was in the construction business. So I know he was a cement guy. He had a business.
Yeah. I would love to just, you know, see how he's doing.
I still got his number. It's the same number. If you want to talk to him, I'll get him. I'll find him.
I would love to have him on the show. He'd be a riot.
He's a character, man. He is a character.
We have some good comments coming in for you, Mick. Richard said Roach is saying, haven't heard that name in a while. Can't say Rory without Skip. Dave Padilla says, great stuff. Stephen John, best show yet. Mick should be a weekly segment. Mick the legend. And then the last one I wanted to bring up, kind of off script here, Jimmy, Robbie Grisano was texting me during the show and asked him about the Vision days when you coached his first Vision team. And Robbie, I don't know how this happened, but played left field for you back then.
Robbie, if he played left field, we had 9 guys. The only time he played outfield for me was in that NSA tournament. He played left field. He played left field on another team that I was with. We needed an outfielder. We played left field. No, I always wanted him to play third and first. I said, learn third, learn first. He wanted to play short at that time. But he made All-American at second base the first time he made it out in Iowa. You know, I liked him at first, but he don't like to play first base.
Right.
Yeah, Robbie could hit. His first hit was against, believe it or not, his father at McGuane Park. He was 14 years old. He was doing my scorebook. I said, we're in the playoffs. I said, go bat against his team, and he got a hit. He was 14 years old. First time he hit the ball. Yeah.
He, you know, he's always been I always think he's been a great hitter. So I'm looking forward to having him on our team this year. I think he's going to add value in many ways. So
get him his at bats, Jimmy. Get him his at bats. Use what he's good for. Use his assets.
Yeah, no, and not only that, but I think he's kind of grown up over the years too, and he's about team and about wanting to win, and it fits a lot of the traits that we're looking for.
A little responsibility factor blended in there too with the growing up, as you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah. So everyone hits that road at some point. So, yeah. But Mick, I know that leads us to the last question of the night, and it's the question I ask every guest. If there's one thing in softball either you want to change or add to the game to improve it, what would it be?
I'm a big advocate of getting rid of all these 4-day tournaments. And my opinion is when you get back to the crowd effect and the fan base, they don't want to come out and watch 4 days. I don't think as much as the guys don't want to come out 4 days because things are different now. I think you would get more teams to play. Friday night to Saturday should be the limit. The problem is with Thursday, Friday, Jimmy, they ruin leagues. Okay, my league's one of them. I only run a 39 and over league, but you played in it before, so that gets ruined. Especially the upper 4 teams get hammered because a lot of guys from their teams are playing on their upper teams, their regular teams, and it hurts leagues on Thursdays and Fridays. Park districts got to cancel stuff. It's rough. It's rough. I don't even mind consolation where you're guaranteed 2 games. I really don't, because if you've got 16 teams, you're going to play 15 games on top. You're going to play 7 on the bottom. Okay, you still got to win 4 games to win the console. You got to play 4 games to win the console. So if you win the console, maybe you pick up $400. You win the top, you pick up $800. You're still playing 4 games. Yeah. It's my view. I ran tournaments for years. I used to have single limit armor for years. Nobody ever bitched and moaned. We always had. I did it 17 years. I probably did another 5 years at Clyde with tournaments. And I ran a Friday night and Saturday. If you got lights on Friday night, you could run bang, 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 4 and 4. Everybody plays on Friday.
Yep.
Come back, you have the winners play, and then consolation play in the afternoon. You can get it done. And that's what I would do.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
What's your thought, before I let you go, what's your thought on the, if we do have a 20, because a lot of the major tournaments now are 24 teams.
Yeah.
If that first round of games, if they start that first round of games like they do on Thursday, and they make those games single elimination, and then the final 16 double elimination, and you end the tournament on Saturday night and cut out Sunday, put family back in on Sunday. Yeah. What's your thought? Do you think that would work? You think that's a good thought process behind it? I think people in the game will love it. I know.
Well, let me go back a little bit. The last time I think that happened, if you remember, the ASA State used to get single limit until the final 8 and then double. Kind of like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So then final 8 would come, and you got a double elimination.
Yeah.
And that would be your Saturday, and then you finish on Sunday or Friday, finish on, so whatever it might be.
Right.
But I think that's the last time I played in anything of that nature where they had single for the first 2 rounds, and you got to remember they had 35, 40 teams in them tournaments, so they would never finish.
Right.
And I mean that's just my view of what I think could happen. But that was the last time I experienced that.
I just think that by doing those first 8 games, or the first, 4 games on Thursday, if those games are single elimination, if you have an Iowa team coming in, well, Iowa automatically gets one of the 8 byes so that they're playing 2 games to come in as they would now. So, you're not really cutting any games out for them. And
right.
I just think it helps, right? I mean, it helps with just everything, commitment, as you said, fans.
Yeah. Well, you could always draw them into Friday and the Saturday, too, and not give them a Thursday. You could draw them whoever they play.
Well, that's what I would say.
And you move the times around. Yeah.
Yeah. Iowa would not play on Thursday. They'd play only on Friday, or they'd play in the final 16, so they're playing in double elimination.
Right.
And to be honest, you only get 1 Iowa team for most of the tournaments. Yeah. Some of them you get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, major nationals, like the Glove National, okay, we could end it on Saturday. That would be awesome. But, I mean,
well, we do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as the majors. You don't play Thursday.
Right, they don't play Thursday. But
I know what you used to say before: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I guess I don't know if you take a consensus. I don't know. You'd have to get the numbers. I know you took a poll one time on it, and you had some facts come back to you, so you had an idea on what the thought process was.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so and it is what it is. But hey, I got that. Remember that person I told you about is on this book with me, the USSSA commissioner.
Yes, yes.
She's right next to me. She got in the same year I did.
Okay.
I believe I still have a number too, if you need it.
And she's out of Rockford, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to. Donnie and I have to get that from you just because we want to. Just because we want to do some things with use USSSA, and we're gonna try to do some things out of state with them. They, with Kelly getting on the show, and hopefully we can promote the Iowa tournament in Marshalltown is what we're trying to do to get more teams from Kansas City to go there. So
I don't know if I want to go with you guys anymore, though. I had my year with you. We ain't gonna say no more than that.
Yeah, we won't say no more than that. So. But Mick, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much. I know Donnie. I don't think Donnie, you have anything else for Mick, or do you? Okay.
No, Mick.
I'll have to talk to Donnie in private. We'll have a little school session, me and him. I'll straighten him up.
Mick, the only thing I'll say is that I'll tell my mom you said hello.
Tell your mom I said hey.
Hey, Mick, well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us, and it was incredible. Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. All right.
You too. What's up, Donnie boy?
Hello again, friend. How about that guy, huh?
No, I mean, what's cool about it is that you get to see and you get to hear about the old days and how it was and the history of the game, and that stuff matters. You know what I mean? It
Especially,
matters.
like, to him, it matters more than anything.
Well, I mean, he built his.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. He built not his life, pretty much his life around it in the summer, right? So it's something that he's passionate about. He had an incredible time not only with him and his son, and it's definitely I mean, honestly, you and I, we kind of do similar things, right? I mean, you change things around to go play the game of softball, so which is awesome.
Yeah.
So
I love it. We should. We'll see if Tommy's still on. I know Mick went a little bit long. We usually have somebody else, but if you want to see if Tommy's still with us, but I would talk to Mick forever.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Hopefully Tommy Storino's out there. If he is out there, hopefully he can send us an invite. In the meantime, I want to say hi to some of the people that joined. I know Nicholas Kimmer. I know Rich Aceves, Dave Padilla, Roberto, Danny Estrada, Pat Schillo, Jeff Batall. So we've got Rocco's on here. Jimmy DeFalco's on here, my man.
I was gonna say what's up to Jimmy. He was commenting during Mick's interview. I wanted to bring him up. We got Ian Holst is watching, new addition to Meatball City. That's a big pickup for them. Chris Miller, Uncle Pete, Peter Corral, Jim Schumacher was commenting for Mick. We didn't get a chance to touch on that, but mid-'80s Donovan Park League was tough to talk about that. And Matty Dozen just jumped on the stream. He just missed all of Mick's interview.
I know. And he was brought up in the Mick interview. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tom. I know we didn't bring a fan on right now. We'll see how long the Tommy thing goes, and maybe we'll bring a fan on here at the end for a couple questions. But let me get Tommy on the line here.
Yep. I just have a few questions for Tom in the meantime. I don't talk to him about his business and whatnot. I just got a couple things to ask Tommy. One of them's pretty funny. You're gonna like one of these.
Oh, nice. I know I got a couple things I got to ask him too. So hopefully he could join with video and audio and accept the invite that's out there. So I just sent it to him now. So hopefully he's able to get on the stream.
Perfect. I've started to know Tommy a little bit more as he's on social media a lot. Dave Padilla with a question: are these shows on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday? Dave, this week we did Thursday because we had some stuff earlier in the week that we were doing, and then usually it's on Tuesday nights. So we'll try to get back to being consistent with Tuesday nights.
Right. Yep. So I am going to go ahead and approve him. And it's saying it's adding, so
he'll be on in just a second.
Yeah. So Dave, we're going to go. No answer to the live guest.
Did he decline it?
I think he's trying to get on.
There he is.
So.
There he is.
You guys hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, Tommy?
Another day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar, my man. I love it. So.
What's going on, guys?
Tommy, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm exhausted today. It's been a long week. As Jimmy knows, being in this business, end of the month, but it's end of the year. So,
Oh, yeah. I hear you. So, one of the reasons why Donnie and I wanted to bring you on, not only have you been a supporter of the game, sponsoring teams. I know you've sponsored Hex.
Yep.
Have, been a part of a sponsorship of Hex for several years. But just in general, I know that you do a select business out in the market now that I'd like you to speak to, because it's just a huge opportunity for you to kind of let other people know what you do and promote your business. I know right now times are a little rough with these interest rates and some of the things that are going on in the market, but why don't you speak to a little bit and tell the audience kind of what you do, how long you've been doing it. I know you work with one of my good friends, Dan Hodak.
He's my guy. Yeah, he's our regional guy.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, about your business.
Well, started January 2001 working for Philly Legilia. You know that. You work with us too.
Yeah.
Back then the rates were at 9%. So right now the rate hike for me doesn't really bother me because, self-payment, not rate. But it is the better time when the rates are higher because you can get a better price for the house. You're going to get credits from the seller, which, on average right now, my buyers are getting 5 to 10 grand credit on every deal I've closed in the last 4 months. So it's helping them, bringing less money to the closing. They can sit on that higher rate for at least 6 months. When the rates drop, they refi. They gain equity in that time frame. So there's no point in renting. So what? The rates are high, not a big deal because they're always going to come down. They always do. Like I said, I started there at 9%, and then I've seen them at the lowest ever at, I quoted a 10-year a couple of years ago at 1 3/4. So I've never seen that. It's never going to happen again. It was a fluke, in my opinion. But you'll see by next summer, it's an election year. It happens every time. Rates will tank because everyone wants to get reelected. So you'll start seeing them probably, they're predicting 5s again, which is still below average if you take the COVID years out over a 50-year period. So
Absolutely. No, I think it's you hit the right on the head, basically. You know what I mean? It's incredible because election years usually make a big impact in regards to the economy. A lot of things that we do in the industry with interest rates and so on. So tell me, why did you get into the mortgage business? And if someone were to be looking for a home right today, how would they be able to reach you, contact you? Let's talk about your offices, where you guys are located. Give us some feedback on where you're at now.
So, we're located. We have a bunch of offices in Illinois, but we're all over the country now. So, and we're licensed in, I think, 46 states now. So I started with these guys. My 10-year anniversary will be January 6th. There were 16 people in the company when I started.
Yep.
And now we've got, I think, over 600.
Yeah.
So offices, like I said, all over the country. And then in 3 years, when she can retire with CPD, we're going to Florida, and I'm going to open an office down there.
Nice.
So,
very nice.
I got into it by just pure accident. Working for Philly. A bunch of our friends worked for him in high school. They all went to Brother Rice, so they got out at 11 o'clock every day senior year. So they were working noon to 8 every day. And seeing their paychecks, at 17 years old, they're bringing in $10,000. I was working 3 jobs in high school, not even coming close to 10 grand. Philly's brother Johnny went to the Army, and then the rest of them all went to college. I went to school for a semester, hated it. Phil's like, "Hey, I lost a whole department. Why don't you come work for me?" I can't say what he paid me at first because he'll probably still kill me because it was more than what he was paying the other guys. But offered me money that I couldn't refuse at 18 years old. I'll even say it was 25 grand just to start. But in 2001, at 18 years old with no debt, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
Probably today, that's probably closer to 40 grand, maybe today, 45, 50,
Yep.
So it was great. I moved out at 18, making the money. I was like, I'm out.
Dang.
So it says, really quick, we have a question from the audience. Dave Padilla says, Tommy, you will find out a house, good man. Question for Tommy is, do you think you'll see a 3 or 4% interest rate ever again?
Oh, and the 4s for sure. 3s probably on a 10 or a 15. Yeah. Hell, you might even see it next summer with everyone trying to get reelected. You never know. They're saying 5s, but you never know. They've been wrong and been lying to everybody for the last 2 years. So 22 and 23 have been, this is the roughest year they were saying in their polls in 11 years, as far as rates are concerned in the market.
Right. They're calling for three rate reductions already for next year. So
we're going to see
a drop. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, just me, I'm a point to a point and a half lower than I was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So, I had a guy call me today. He thought I'd give him 8 1/4, and I think we're like 6 1/8. He's like, I didn't expect that. Like, yeah, rates come down. So when the bond market tanks, that's what all you people listening right now, when you see the 10-year bond dipping, that's when you know rates are going to come down. Right. The mortgage rates are affected by the 10-year yield.
Yep. Wow. Yep. So Donnie.
And I got nothing about mortgages, unfortunately, Tommy. But
fine, softball it is, man. I've been playing it forever.
Last time I saw you was in Oak Lawn. We were playing a football game, and you mentioned that you
kneecap
tore your ACL while you're playing. How's the knee feel?
It was fine, honestly. When I was walking up my stairs at home, it just popped back in.
Shit!
It was just a fluke thing that game, and we got our asses handed to us by you guys. So all you did was throw knuckleballs the entire time from the mound. But it was just a fluke thing. Tried to jump and just the knee gave out. It's the same one I tore back in 2017. So it happens once in a while. And then I've been fine ever since. I played 12-inch all the way through November, basically right after that.
I remember you couldn't even move. You were like, I think I just did it again.
Yep, pretty much. So, but no, I played the outfield in 12-inch basically that whole week after that, all the way through the second week in November. Right. So
there you go. That's hilarious.
All right, what else we got?
I had another one. I had another kind of question. Relates to softball, but I see you a lot on your social media guy. You kind of stick to commenting on stuff. And how has social media, you think, changed the game of softball?
In one way, I will agree with a lot of guys that have been on the show already. The live streams are great, especially when you can commentate well. Like, I know you do a great job, and the whole Free Donnie thing was great.
Thanks.
But it was, when you can commentate, it's fine. And I think that's okay. But at the same time, like I know Jimmy brought up, God, I think when you first started this, people stopped coming out. Because they're like, well, I can just sit at home, or I could be at the bar with my guys, or I can be playing a tournament somewhere else instead of going to watch this one or play a bag tournament or whatever, and just have it live streamed right where I'm at. Yeah, live streams are good because people are still watching. But when me and Jimmy were playing, when we were early 20s, we were playing 5 days a week, doubleheaders every night, tournaments just about every single weekend, going through Saturdays, through Sundays. We're making them to the end. And those crowds were insane. It didn't even have to be Forest Park. Mount Prospect, you remember those tournaments? They were packed every night through the championship. That's the only thing I think it's changed a little bit for the crowds was the live streams. Right. People are like, I don't need to come out anymore. But
and that's to our point. I think Mickey just brought it up too, right? Cutting the tournaments down, doing those type of things. But I just think that if you make it more of an event, people will still come out.
Yeah, and then that's what I was going to bring up too. Like Mickey, I mean, perfect. I mean, I don't even know how I can even follow him, but but having the parks, Forest Park's good at that because they have the water park that they just built for little kids. They have the pool, and then they have a regular park. That's perfect. So that would, be able to bring out your kids. But what you were saying is, to keep people there, have a $20 a man bag tournament while you're waiting to play your next game, or if you're not playing till tomorrow, okay, cool. You could run that tournament for that day. Have it a one-day bag tournament for all of Saturday, or start one on Friday night. Get a bunch of guys together, but have people sign up prior to knowing at what time you play. So, all right, you play at 8. All right, you're going to play at 7 o'clock on your first round of bags. Cool, you're done by 9. You got to play the winner of whatever, and then you're done at the Friday night. Do the same thing on the Saturday. I know you can't do like barbecues. Maybe some parks will let you. I don't know. But yeah, like the bag tournament, or you can do, just there's so many other things you can do, and that's when you brought that up.
Melrose has the bocce.
Dude, that's huge
for us Italians. You know,
well, I'm trying to put bocce in the backyard, but she keeps telling me no because my yard's a 300-foot lot, so I got plenty of room.
Yeah. So you hit a good point. Like, it's just, you have to think of things outside the box. And I know I was talking with Ray Zarnick, we were mentioning car shows on the Saturdays, and
Well, they used to do that at Mount Prospect. They used to let him bring a bunch of cars out, and he did that 1 year at North South, and then after that, I don't know what happened, but yeah, he usually bring like 4 or 5 cars out.
Right. I mean, and if he ran like a car show, like a legit car show, while it attracts people. I mean, people will come out to look at vehicles, and while they're there, they're going to see, oh man, the softball. Like, I mean, there's
they can
other
go get a
ways.
beer and a hot dog.
Right. You can't just do it once and expect, oh my God, it's going to work, and then it's something we have to start. We have to lay the groundwork and continue to move forward. So
I have no problem helping you guys with the car show stuff because I do it for one of the charities that I work with. So we do them. I'm part of several different car clubs too. So when these guys come out, you may have a guy that's got a $5,000 whatever it is, and then you'll have a guy that shows up with a $5 million hypercar. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a broad scope, and a lot of these guys that have money will donate if it's a charity event or softball, but make the car show donate to charity. If you can combine different things together, it's going to get a lot more people out. That's why I do a lot with charities.
I agree. And so that kind of leads me into my question, right? A little bit. We talk about what was happening back then, but this is more tailored to you personally. I know we played together on Max, and we were Maxim, and then we were Flash. But the one thing that I can truly ask you, because you were there, you were younger, a little bit younger then too, obviously. What do you think the game was then compared to it is now? And not only that, but there's been a lot of good, I feel, too. We always talk about the bad. There's been a lot of good, I feel, that has come out from where it was 20 years ago to now. Like, the SSA's done a good job. There's a lot of people out there who have done good jobs to promote softball. But what is something that you feel from then till now has been a difference maker, either bad or good?
Well, back in the day, when especially we were Maxim, what did Phil and all the guys say? If you can't commit, no hard feelings, don't come out. You are to be here. We played back then. We were 4 days a week. Sometimes it would be Friday too. So we had the Mount Prospect and we had Westchester. Westchester was Tuesday, Thursday, and Mount Prospect was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Friday, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was, if you can't commit, we totally understand. You could stay in the park leagues, whatever. And that was my first year up at that level with you guys in 07. So, but I had already been playing for years at Mount Greenwood, Graver, Kennedy, for a long time. But Phil's like, hey, they just needed a guy. And he's like, I'm going to introduce you to some people, but if you can't commit, don't show up tonight. Don't bother.
Right.
So I said, yeah, whatever. I'm 18 years old. It's cool. Let's go. Let's start playing. I had no commitments. I had no relationships at that time. I could play 7 days a week, and I did for years. I mean, did it ruin relationships? Absolutely. Yeah. But softball was life back then, and it's just because everyone made it fun. Everyone welcomed you. Everyone picked you up. It would tear you down if you made something stupid, but then, you learn from your mistakes. But it was more of a commitment thing, I think, back then, and more people rallied around each other. I think less arguments, less team fights back then. Everyone kind of stuck up for everybody on the team. I'll never forget the time Tyler stuck up for me when a guy did a bush league play and ended up breaking my ankle that year with Maxim. He came out of the dugout, had my back. So that's something I'll never forget.
I mean, I remember, rest in peace, Bobby Ross, but I remember Senior was incredible, man. He'd ride your ass like no other boy, but I'll tell you, he'd support you like no other too. And it was,
that was my favorite part. He would, get on you during the game, but afterwards he'd be like, you understand why I did it, right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, we're fine. He'd talk to you normal at that, but he was the fire, man. I loved it. He was a great guy.
He built trust and respect in you back then, which is something that I feel nowadays is kind of missing a little bit,
Yeah, I think that, there's younger guys coming in and, I did it too. I thought, coming in young, I thought I knew everything. The person, honestly, that put me in my place, and it's still funny till this day, we're at Kennedy Park playing with Posse, and Lofrano was on the team, but he was playing major at the time, and we got into it bad that game. But it was kind of just an awakening for me. I'm like, I got to listen to the guys that have already been playing at the level to understand, it's more than just hitting for power, being able to catch a ball. It's a mental thing. So there was reasons why, you do certain things. So That's another thing I won't forget is even before I got to that major level, I think it was like 2002 or 3 when I was playing with Jeremy and Holstein. They were all on the same team with me too. And so just kind of listening to that, learning from those guys, even though, you didn't agree with something, they did it for a reason. So, and me and Jared now are like super cool. Talk about the bullshit. So, I just don't think that there's that mentorship. I don't think is really there as much anymore. When we were coming up, I learned probably the most 45s 09 when the whole forest car thing. You could play during all the leagues, but when it came down to the tournaments, us younger guys had to sit down and let the guys that have been on the team for years play, and there was a reason for that. I didn't understand it at the time. I know Dags did an interview a couple weeks ago about that specific game, and when he left and all that, I was there. We were teammates, and I understood it, but it was like I had to stay. You know what I mean? I couldn't just do that. It was a commitment, so I had to stay. But I did get to bat in the championship game. So I was like, fine. Hey, I still got to bat when it mattered. He's like, all they told me is just hit it as far as you can, get the run in, and that's all I was able to do. And I was like, hey, fine, whatever. I batted 0 for 0, but I got a run in, I'm good.
That's all that matters, man. Team won.
And then got to bat again in, at Nationals in Iowa that year. So just being able to learn from the guys ahead of us, I think just makes anyone better. But you have to want to do it, and it took me a long time personally to accept that.
Right. Sure. Donnie.
I it's nice to kind of get to know you a little bit more as we've been playing, and it's I'm sure the relationship will grow. I didn't have a ton to ask you as we kind of got into this. I know Jimmy likes to talk about business a little bit and throw back to softball. People want to know this one question: what's your max bench press?
I do body weight. That's it.
Okay. Well, that was disappointing.
Yeah. No, I tried. A long time ago, I used to work out with guys that competed in bodybuilding and state and all that. And when I tried to do, I think it was like 4 something, and my shoulder popped out. I never did it again since then, and I was 22. So just do body weight. I do it for me. It's a mental break in my day. I go every day. At noon, it's for my mental health. That's what I do. It's an hour in between my day, and that just keeps me sane.
Well, next time I go to one of Jake Reynolds' bodybuilding competitions and I take one down, I'll bring you with me, Tommy. I'll show you how to do it.
Dude, I've been watching his videos. They're nuts.
Yeah, his stuff's awesome.
Yeah, he's a whack job, but we love him. So
yeah, those Iowa guys. He's awesome. So he started a new place. He's moved his business. So we'll have to have him on again in the future and talk a little bit about that. But Tommy, that kind of leads us to the last question. We want to bring you on to promote your business. Obviously, people out there, if they're looking for a mortgage, Tommy's your guy. You guys can reach out to him, find him. Obviously, rewind the show a little bit. You could find out where he's located. How to get a hold of them. So the phone number is the easiest. It's 877 and my last name.
Perfect. So
very easy.
That leads me to the question, right? Mm-hmm. So the question I always ask everybody is what you feel you would do or change in the game right now to improve softball. I know you talked about commitment, but other than commitment, what is one thing clever, something outside the box that you would be like, if we did this or tried this, I think it would be beneficial for softball, or it could be nothing.
No, I mean, I agree with almost everybody that's been on the show since with the same question is ending tournaments on Saturday. But like I said, the bag tournaments, I think everyone likes to play that. You can sit there and have a beer and not leave the park. That'll keep everybody there. If they have a family, their kids are still playing in the park. The wives are either sitting with the other wives or they're drinking, or hell, they're probably playing bag tournaments too. You have a male and a female division. I know every single one of us probably have at least one set. And, we can do that. I think
that's a first for the show. I don't think everyone's on it. Donnie, if I remember correctly, I don't think anyone's ever brought up, let's bring a bags tournament to the actual let's change softball. I mean, it's a great idea, right? It's just another promo of the game, keeps people at the field. Mm-hmm. we've talked about hot dog stands and other things with Joey Costa a couple weeks ago. So it's just no. I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, the more you can keep people around, entertained, the better.
I got a guy with a food truck too. So I think, like I say, we can incorporate more things with a charity too, with them promoting the game of softball through the charities too on top of it. And, the team who won it or the team that even raised the most money for the charity. I know you do a great one every year. We unfortunately didn't have the one for the Brotherhood for the Fallen this year. Just it didn't work out timeline. And I know Nico's been, different shifts, so it's been real hard for him too. So,
right.
Yeah, I think, a way to give back. I think we'll bring in a lot more to give the exposure for softball a little bit more. And then maybe going to parks to do a one-day tournament, like Mickey was saying, but have a park that's got more fields. Mount Greenwood's got a ton of them. Or you combine them and you have Beverly Park's 4 fields and you got the 6 at Mount Greenwood. Or you do, kind of like, I guys don't like bringing up Pop Hops, but they use Beverly, Ridge, Kennedy, and Mount Greenwood to get it all done in one day. But if you were to split it between 2 that are right next to each other, I think it would be really easy.
Right. So I don't mean to change the subject, but we just had breaking news. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I think the top Japanese pitcher in MLB just signed with the Dodgers. It's incredible. Where are they getting all this money?
They're saving rates on their mortgages.
Yeah.
Bingo!
all that Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. So, Tommy, you know what, though? I appreciate, dude, you joining, taking time. It's always awesome to chat. I know you and I go way back to the old days. So, but, to your point, I think we need to bring the business heads together in the game. There's a lot of us in the game that can put our minds together and come up with some great ideas. So I do know, I definitely know there's a board meeting coming soon. So you might be on the list of one of the individuals I call to join me. So I definitely appreciate it, Tommy.
Just let me know anytime. Just give me a couple day notice and I can be, wherever. Same thing when Pete called me. He's like, hey, I need to do something. I go, just give me a heads up.
Yep, absolutely. So I will definitely let you know.
That's why I'm going.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I heard you are joining Players Inc. So, little rumor mill. See that,
cool.
Donnie?
There you go.
That was the first live reveal for a rumor mill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been, Pete and I have been talking for probably a little over a year when everything everyone was going back and forth about the whole ASA and SSA sign of drama over the last year. And we just we're just BSing back and forth constantly. And he's like, hey, just come to a meeting. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to play anymore. Like I was to that point after the tournament at Westchester this year. I was just fed up. And so we just started talking through the summer. I enjoyed my summer. I worked a lot more, but I got to enjoy my pool and just had a good time and, parties in the backyard. But we just started talking, went to a meeting, got to hit with the guys a couple weeks ago. And I was like, good group of guys.
I got the itch. I'm back. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I'm like, I'll play. He's like, hey, we're just playing Forest Park, so I don't have to worry about work and home life and all that. One day a week, and I'm gonna do 1 day a week down on the south side, down here where I started playing, just with some guys that I started with when I was 18. So
cool.
getting back to that old school, south side life for a little bit, and then still being able to play 1 night a week at Forest Park. And still be able to compete at a higher level, which is what I like. I'm very competitive. That. You are as well. We've had that fire even against each other once in a while on opposite teams. But I still think one of the best hitting years I've had, or even with you, same thing is when we were both, 1-2 on Wallace. I mean, it was like automatic. So that was one of my fun years. We
had a hell of a team that year, too,
and then it fell apart after North-South, which sucked because we were winning, and I think we only had 2 losses.
I know. It was incredible.
So,
and Tony, something happened with Tony, and it just kind of fell apart. It was pretty sad, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, man. Like I said, man, appreciate you coming on. I know Donnie definitely appreciates you well, and
anytime.
We'll be in touch.
All right, man.
Appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you.
Right. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And he really fumbled the bench press question for me, Jim.
Yeah, He's a good guy. You know what? He speaks from the heart,
Yeah,
which
he's
is
good.
what I love.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
You know what I mean? He really is. And like he's got a lot of good ideas too,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So and you can tell he wears it right on his he said sorry, Daddy. Yeah, but no, you know, he wears his, you know, feelings right on his sleeve. I love it. You know what I mean? So
that's your kind of guy.
no, I mean, you know what?
Should be everyone's kind of guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a hustler too. You got to give him credit.
Yep.
So I know we have a couple minutes left. All right. I just want to obviously say once again, congratulations on getting engaged last week.
Thanks, friend.
But I also want to tell everyone out there to have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas to all, right? So I believe next week we're going to try to do the show on Tuesday night, which is the day after Christmas, if we can. I don't know what my schedule looks like, but I think I'm going to have some family in town and things like that. So we want to continue to do it on Tuesdays, as you know.
Yep.
I know we did not bring a fan to the show tonight, but that's okay because Mickey ran a little long, and so did and Tommy, and I think both guests were incredible. So
definitely stand-up guys across the show. I want to mention too, get all your updates on the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show on Facebook. So make sure you follow our Facebook page and kind of like the page, share it with the friends so everyone knows when we're going to be live like you did this week. Kind of had to, you know, divert to Thursday, and you put out the posts and people are still here watching. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, very cool. And then I know we're going to get on to TikTok now. So
oh yeah, I got to get on that. No,
you might want to create that tonight while you're laying in bed thinking about your wedding.
Thanks. I will. I'll try to squeeze that into my schedule.
Yeah, create that thing, and then I'll post the video on YouTube because I know our subscribers on YouTube are going up as well. And then we're going to put this out there to somebody. We are looking for a software that will allow us to go live all at once on all the sites. So for those tech individuals out there, please let us know. I've reached out to some individuals already, but it's something that we have an opinion and what we would like to do. You know, if we could go live on YouTube, FaceTime or Facebook, whatever we call this, and then also TikTok. I think there's an opportunity for that, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that way we don't got to go and post, and once we go live once, we're on live on all the pages. Mm-hmm. So anything you got for me, Donnie, in regards to just tonight? Any questions, comments?
Like you kind of hit the nail on the head, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and be safe around Christmas time, traveling around, and we'll definitely see you guys next week. We'll put an announcement on what day we'll be live, but it looks like it'll be kind of regular schedule for us.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get a hold of Nano from the High Y team.
Okay, cool.
So I'd like for Nano to be one of our next guests.
I know Charles Golden watches the show, and Ace Rogers was on the show last night. So we've got some of the High Y guys that we can have on here for sure.
Yeah, so I texted him, and I haven't got a response, but he hasn't read it yet either. So I don't know if that's his number or if it on Facebook. So I'm trying to get a hold of him.
Fake number.
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. You know, it is what it is, right? So.
Well, Jim, enjoy the rest of your night, and I will talk to you tomorrow, all right?
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, Don. Thank you. Bye.